Hi guys, welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a very quick impromptu. It might get a bit noisy in a minute or two, but while I was in Ireland, I found the works and found beautiful birds, which is again vintage, and I will do a video with a full... Just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. I just have to see how that... Not quite got organised after the being at home. So I've got beautiful birds, and again it's botanical garden, Kew garden kind of vintagey style. So that one's all got beautiful birds in it, and it's probably very similar to the one I've had before. In fact, this one has the exact same paintings or drawings in as the other one. There's a couple of different ones, but a lot of them I recognise, and it would be nice to have another go at painting the one I made a bit of a mess of. This not that one, the next one, the blue one. It's a very similar Let's see if I can get chat. Do that one. The last thing which was here is I've been just bear with me a second. Oh, right. So other things in Ireland that I bought, quite a few things came from eBay. So I'm at the moment having a bit of an obsession with vintage watercolor sets. Now this one I bought, and it was very dirty when I bought it, but it has the porcelain watercolor set, and you put your brushes underneath. And the reason I liked it was like a complete set, so it'll hold the two brushes. It did have some vintage colours, and I've put a couple of others, didn't have any yellows, so I put the yellows and one blue in there. But that's given me some quite nice ones. Now they are student grade, but they are actually very, very transparent. So I was quite pleased with that. And the other thing I liked about it is it did have a double little pot. Now the rest of it is plastic, and I'm going to put some gouache in there, some white gouache, but it gave me kind of a little bit of a set in a complete, didn't have to bother with anything else. Now I did find this pot, and I kept thinking, oh, it's perfect, I can put water in it. It doesn't actually have water in it, but the thing I liked about it the most, and I'll just take that out, and I used it when I was away. I'm going to put that in there because it's going to spill. And I kept thinking, well, that's brilliant, but I wish I need two pots. And look, by magic, this particular face cream pot breaks into two. So I have two pots, and then the little sponge will sit in there, and it has a very good lid that doesn't leak. So I kind of thought, well, that's quite nice. I've kind of, and it's loose, and then that just clips into there, and it'll work quite well though, that little pot. It gives me two things for water. Now the other one that's coming, I haven't opened it yet, or not opened it very much, is this one. These are normally known as vintage watercolor sets. Just bear with me a second to see if I can find my chat. Oh, hi Katrina. Hi Darla. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hi Pamela. So this one, now I haven't unwrapped this one. And the reason I wanted it is I could get some space underneath. So this, and it's been beautifully wrapped. So I'm going to take the bubble wrap out. And they've wrapped it up really well. Now this is a Winsor & Newton. I think it's a student grade one, this one. Now I'm not expecting the tubes of paint in a vintage set or in any particular set if it's second hand. The tubes of paint are normally shot. They're normally dried. They're normally not going to be as a tube of paint is when you first buy it. Having said that, there is no reason, I'm just looking for the top, no reason whatsoever why, oh my goodness, this is so well wrapped, and it was such a nice, it really was very well wrapped. So when I saw this on YouTube, I wanted one for my botanicals, but I also wanted one for my Bible journaling. Now this is a student grade, and again it's been lovely, look, very, very well wrapped because it was posted. But I love the fact that I could hide my beautiful brushes. I've got some Winsor & Newton new brushes in the bottom. So instead of having the brushes in a separate pouch, organise the brushes to go with what I want. So this particular set here, now this is plastic, but it's quite a good quality plastic. So we've got a water pot and we've got a little bit of, now I don't know if you press down or poke it out. This is a vintage porcelain little mixing tray. There's a series 55 brush, and then there's another brush in here as well. So I've got two brushes, a number 4 and a number 2, so that was a bit of a bonus as well. And I don't know if you can see, this piece of paper doesn't come out. But if you can read in there, it gives you the colours. And remember what I say about traditional colours. So this is a student set. Now, as I say, you can see the colours here. I'm not expecting these to work. These are fine. So if you ever do buy vintage or second hand, probably these tubes will be dead, hard as a rock. But there's a trick. In here is pure watercolor that has dried and will be the same, if not better, than one of these. So I intend to open these up. They're all solid. They will be solid. They're 50 odd years old, maybe 100 years old, 80 years old. They will be solid. But there is no reason why I can't open them and lay them out in a box. And I do have a couple of really old boxes, and if hubby's back, I'll ask him to get it out for me. So I'll pop those back in there. So these colours, as I say, I'm not even going to nip them. I know they are not going to be good. Even ones that I've bought that look fairly new, if they've not been looked after, they will not work. But these particular ones, even though they are a vintage set, these are going to be brilliant. And the reason I wanted this set was this particular set, although I may have changed my mind. Now, I'm pretty sure these, I don't know if they'll come out. Some of these come out and some don't, but they are porcelain. And if you force them out, they will break. Oh, one's come out. Yeah, these are porcelain. So these are little, and they are square. A lot of the porcelain ones are square, not the oblong ones. They must come out actually, because if you look at the colours here, they don't represent the colours that are on here. And again, I love it because I have to prop it up because my hands hurt. And I thought, well, this one would do for my Bible journaling. But I'll see what the student grades are quite like, because again, they look quite nice. So we've got a lemon yellow, a chrome middle yellow, and a chrome orange. And then we've got yellow ochre. Well, that is not yellow ochre. Raw sienna and a raw umber. Burnt sienna, red Indian, Van Dyke brown, brown madder tint, Elysian crimson, and rose madder tint. So actually, it's just these two that want turning around. I think this one isn't yellow ochre. I think that's yellow ochre raw sienna. Oh, it does look like raw sienna. Where's yellow ochre? Yellow ochre looks a little bit dark to me, but I'll see what that colour is. And of course, once this colour's used, I can use my professional watercolours in the tube and squeeze them in. Just see if I could just let that go. We've just had tea, and we've just got our new baby, so it's a bit fraught. So the baby's just gone for a walk, the new girl's gone for a walk. On the other side, we've got Scarlet Lake, Mauve, Purple Lake, Cerulean Blue, Cobalt Blue, Ultramarine, Antwerp Blue, Emerald Green, Sap Green, Hooker's Green Light, Hooker's Green Dark, and Viridian Tint. And again, that's the 24 set, which is really, really good. The one thing that's missing is they've got Scarlet Lake, where I was at Cadmium Red, but apart from that, this is quite a good set. So we've got 2 yellows, an orange, some browns and ochre colours, and then we've got the reds and the pinks and purples, blues, green, and 6 greens. So that's actually, or 5 greens. And then in here they have Crimson Lake, Prussian Blue, Black Gamboge, Green Bice. This is quite an old set. Sepia Tint, Verilion Middle, and White, Chinese White. But again, the colours are quite nice, and it is a really nice little set. But I love the fact that you can put things underneath. But my idea was that I can have water, but I can have a really barely damp amount of control for Bible journaling. So that was my other little find. Now, sometimes you don't always get them. I bought about 4 of these actually, and one of them I wasn't going to bid, and nobody else. I did a little bit, and I changed my mind. So again, I might put the plastic underneath. As I said, this one I've got my professional watercolours in it, and I quite like this little set. I knew I'd spill the water because I forget it's there, so I'm going to take that out. Not used to it yet, so sometimes it gets you've got to be a bit. Takes you a while to get used to things. Oh, I spilled, but never mind. It's watercolour, so it's used to it. Now, there was one that was in its box, in its original cover box, with all these paints brand new. It was all brand new with the brushes and the tube of paint and everything. So the tube of white gouache may have been hard, probably, but the others were all wrapped up perfectly okay. And I think it was about £70 or £80. I think it was £77. This one was half that, but it looked very dirty. So sometimes you've got to look about what you want to spend, and are you bothered the fact you're going to clean it. Well, I'm live. You could have a quick bit of new dog cam. Here she comes. So here's the Elf Master. And here's the new girl. Hello, darling. Can she see me? Where is she? Frankie. Hello, darling. Here's the new girl on the block. Isn't she gorgeous? She's a beautiful Alsatian with chopped off legs. Is the best way we can describe her. And there's the Elfie boy, and he's tired because he's had lots of busy days. He's had lots of walks. No! That worked quick. Sorry, guys.
You started that. Hey.
Sorry, guys. That was, we'd forgotten that we cleared all the bones out the other room. But they stopped on my command, so that was good. Sorry, guys, I may have to, I may be frightened to death. So she didn't find the cats. So that's our new girl. She's not been in this room before. They've been in the other room for about an hour, and they've just had another long walk together. Oh, sorry, guys. That was a bit scary, but very good that they stopped instantly. And they may be a few little fracas because they're both 5 years old. She's from Romania. She has beaten nose. She's got marks on her face. And they've only been together a few hours, but that was actually, I was quite impressed because that was a bone. That was his present last week. So that was a bit scary, but a good sign that, sorry, there's a glare on there, that actually she did respond to me. And she did actually take to me because I was a bit lame, and she came to sit next to me, but she is Amy's dog, so I have to stand back and let them get on with it. And of course, they're not quite used to training Alsatians like I am. And the other thing is she doesn't understand English because she's not an English dog. So that's another really big thing that she's going to have to get over. So it's not always easy. So one of the things I got at the model show was this. I have a head magnifier, and it has a bar at the back, and it sits on your head, but what it does is it gives me my headache. So these are just light glasses. Have to say you look blooming silly, but it's just like a pair of ordinary glasses. And then you have the magnifying, because I want to do some miniature work. Sorry, excuse me, guys. I've just had my first dinner. So again, sometimes going to model shows, you get some quite good deals. And as I say, I don't normally go for plasticky things, but they were very light, and I thought they would be quite good to use. But there is quite a funny picture of me with those. So that was the other little thing that I bought, and now hubby's not here to pass me that. I have got a couple of these vintage sets. Sorry about the squishing. These vintage tins, and they've got something nice about the coating on them. But the reason I wanted this one is because it has, and these are china, and I hadn't realised. I think one pops out. Yeah, that one pops out. And again, these are china. These are little pot, and there's something quite nice about not plastic. I'm getting quite funny about not plastic. So the reason I wanted this one is, and again, this will be absolutely solid. The reason I wanted this one is I wanted it for I wanted a really bijou little one, and the bijou ones. Hello, now behave yourself, girls. Oh, hello, Trouble. Hello. Hello. Make yourself at home. She's a bit big. Behave yourself, girls. No, this is naughty. Alfie Cross. spoilt boy. Are you going to be naughty to that young lady? My word. You have to be a good boy. I have to just get Alfie. But as I said, she's not been in this. Are you being a Mr. Grumpy? Yes, it's going to take a while, isn't it? But you'd like to have a nice friend. Just bear with me a second, guys. I just have to get help because I can't be on here with two dogs. You'll be a good boy. Sorry, you're not getting your nose pushed out. You're still the baby, because you're my baby, aren't you? So the reason I wanted this one is because it will hold my 6 colours, my 2 yellows, I've got an Alfie on the sofa, 2 yellows, 2 reds and 2 blues, and I'll put 2 browns in there as well. And then that can be my little travel set. So sometimes you can pick up the little tiny ones that are quite nice. And I do have a very old one coming. And the only other thing that I wanted to show was in my little, this is a wash bag, but it actually works really well. And I bought this in the Faith shop in Bangor, Northern Ireland. And it's a 1-year Bible, but I bought it with large margins so that it's a different way to read the Bible and do some journaling. And again, that was why I wanted these very studenty grade ones, because they seem to be really light and really watery. And they would work quite well. They had a bit of fracas because I think, hello darling, I think there's 2, and this is his spot, but there's 2 But, are you not going to sit with her?
Yeah, well, I will, but I'm not going to count.
You'll be all right. So we've got to make a fuss of Alfie. So that's another thing that I was going to go through. So I might start that on Sunday, the Bible journaling. And that's really all, because it was a show and it was working. Has anybody got any questions? Sorry, it's a bit bitty today. Oh no, oopsie, oh no, darling. That big girl here. That's a big girl. You wanted a big sister, didn't you, Alfie? Let me just have a look at chat. I don't know where chat is. Ah, there it is. Yeah, Darla said she did stop. Oh, Darla said, sorry, I'm trying to read chat. Darla says her pups do that. They have a bit of, I mean, we did expect that with her. I mean, here's the Alf Master's asleep with me. But obviously, it says she's never been in this room apart from about a minute ago. So take her a while. She's wandering around a bit. It's so funny because she's got the long body of an Alsatian, but she hasn't got. Amy, would you do me a big favour? Would you? Hello, darling. Hello. You're going to settle down? I know it's all strange for you, isn't it? She's a really pretty girl. There she is. She loves Alfie too. Hello, darling. Hello. She's having a wander around. Frankie. Hello. Right, let's see if you can get her to sit down and then she's safe. Would you do me a big favour? In that drawer, in that drop-down thing, there's my little vintagey, tiny Victorian little things. I've got Alfie tucked away because he's still the baby. It's right at this side, but it's on its end. Thank you. Thank you. Now, again, sometimes you've got to wonder when you be careful when you buy things like this. It didn't bother me as such, but I expected this to be huge. But it doesn't bother me that it's the size of my hand, because it's so gorgeous. I mean, isn't that delicious? It has two little pots, and I think this one comes out, but I've not tried to get the other one out yet. It has two little china wells, some vintage watercolors. Alfie, vintage watercolors. But if I can get this one out, and I've never seen one this size, which is what it confused me, so I don't know if that's going to pick up the writing. Are you all right? And then, of course, it says yellow. Oh, sorry, guys, my Alfie's tired, and it says yellow ochre. But these are the cakes that I want to make with my watercolors. So I wanted something that I could show off my watercolors, but I wanted to make bigger ones. But actually, I think these are so pretty. So this is the normal size of your watercolors, and that's the other size. I don't let Alfie go because there's a bit of... You're going to have him on the other side then? You're going to be a good boy? Listen, you share now. You share now. You be a good boy, Alfie. We still love you. Yes, we do. You're still the baby. Alfie's the baby. Be a good boy. But I did expect that to be bigger. Right, just keep an eye, because... No, she didn't know where he was. Right, do you want to put her in the kitchen and put him in? Okay. Where's Samantha?
She's getting a bath.
Do you want to take Alf up, please? So sometimes you've got to be a bit careful. I would say I'm not particularly perturbed about it, but when you look at them, you think they're going to be bigger, and this was kind of really tiny, but I think it's really kind of sweet. It's quite a tidy. So, oh yes, Pamela, they are. I haven't seen them like that. In fact, I'm going to put that little bit of plastic back into there. But I just expected that to be bigger, because of the other ones being a lot bigger. These are the other ones. So I was going to go through, but I thought the watercolours would be quite nice to use. And of course the wood's the same and the pots are the same. So all you're doing is putting your new Winsor & Newton professional watercolours in there. And that's always something quite nice about having something that's vintage. And the wood and the china or porcelain gets you away from plastic. And now I don't go out a lot. Most of my artwork's going to be at home. I can go back to china and wood. Whereas if you're travelling around, I've got quite a few bits for Amy, because she does sketch and paint on the thing. No, Alfie. Will you behave yourself? I have to show you what she looks like on the sofa. We have a new kid on the block. There she is. She is the spit of an Alsatian, but her legs are so short. It's so strange. She has the tail and she's as long as an Alsatian. You're all right. You can have a stroke too. We love you, Alf Pants. We love the Alfie boy. We love Alfie too. Alfie too. So Alfie will be sleeping upstairs and be spoiled.
You know that is.
Could you do me a big favour, Nigel?
Yeah.
So something else that I bought. Sorry guys, something else that I bought on Facebook is this little bag. And it has this little water pot in it, this flat water pot. And I thought, oh my goodness, that would be brilliant. So this, I think it comes with the pot. I've seen it before, but I've never had one. And it's like a little fat, it goes flat, but it's very similar to a dog one actually. In fact, I was going to buy a dog one, but then I saw this little pouch. So my husband's just been to pick this up, and it has the water pot. It has the water pot, which again is quite handy. That's the putty. But this is the one that I wanted. This little set here. And you can do all sorts with this when you pull this out. And I think there's an arrow there. Something happens to that one. I think there's a picture somewhere. I think that one clips on there like that. So you've got your water pot. So that's quite a nice little pot, is that one. Should be a picture of this. There should be a picture. And there's a zippy pocket. I'm never good at zippy pockets. So again, I thought this little bag would be quite good. Did you not take him upstairs? And again, little cotton set to get you going. Because I'm desperately trying to get everything smaller and smaller and smaller. And this little set is quite good. So you've got your brushes safe, a little sketchbook, and that will go on a belt or something on the wheelchair. So I did like the little Winsor Newton travel bag. So I've had a bit of a Christmas moment, to say the least. So that's where the part of Ireland we went to, is Donegal, and we also went to another section as well. So we had it was very, very windy. We were here in Bundoran, And hubby drove up to the, actually didn't, we only drove to here. I think we only went to here. On the wild Atlantic coast of Ireland, but it was a lovely break. It was very, very windy. It was very much like this, very bright and sunny, but very windy. We've had some very bad storms recently. So has anybody got any questions? I don't know what else I've been doing. I have put my big set that I had into here. This is what I took to Ireland with me. I now have my Winsor Newton ones in here, and I love this vintage tin, but it's really heavy. It is quite heavy. And I do have which I did use. This is the one that I used the most. So she can't find it. And it's a modern one. It's a new one. It's a modern one. And I think they're about £6. They're not very expensive. And it takes 6 singles, 6 full-sized or 12 doubles. And for some reason, I've had it out and I've put it somewhere. Nope, it's looking at me. So that's the other book, but I think there's quite a few flips of this botanical illustration of watercolors and botanical art. It's a beautiful book. Yes, I've as I say, I haven't been able to get out. Didn't do very much shopping while I was away, but I've been watching half a dozen things on eBay for quite a while. Oops, and that's another one, but I'm not sure I've won that one. I did. I've won another one. I've won another van. Oh my goodness. Right, let me pay that one. Hello, darling. Oops. Hello, big girl. Hello. No, get down. No. Now behave yourself. Can we get down, please? Thank you. I don't have a cover on this one. Come here, Frankie. Frankie. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Good girl. It's still so new to her. Good girl. Good girl. Might have to sit and play with her ears, I think. Good girl. Alfie, come and sit with Mummy. Alfie, come and sit with Mummy. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at them. Alfie says, well, I'm fine because I'm on my space. But she's done, I would say she's only been here an hour or so. She's doing really well. It'll take a while. But as I say, we're not sure what's happened to her, but she's definitely not had a good 5 years. Oopsie, just bear with me a second. And I'll show the other one that I bought, which is very similar to oh, stop pingy ponging. And it's very similar, but I think it's slightly bigger. And it will have slightly bigger spaces for things. So that's the one that I've just won for £6.99. So I was quite lucky to get that for £6.99. So I shall have to. And the next port of call is to no, behave.
It's
Come on.
a cat. Come on.
She's not seen a cat.
It's a cat.
And she's never seen a horse, and she's never seen a horse before, so she had a bit of a meltdown because she's never seen a horse. So she did have a bit of a meltdown.
It's very sneaky of you. It's Bungle. He's a creepy weirdo anyway.
Is that Bungle?
Yeah, he's a bit
Is he in the other way? Is he in the other room?
creepy. Yeah, he's in the conservatory.
Come and sit down. Frankie. Good girl. Sit. We've changed her name, so again, that's another thing she's got to get used to.
Come here, bud. Come on. Come here. I know you like the sofa, don't you?
Thing is, she's quite intelligent. She's not like Alfie. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, look at the girls and boys. As I say, she's settling in, but it's going to take a few days. And Alfie says, "Okay, then I've got a playmate. Not bothered now." So bless him. Sorry about the salt pot. We've just had tea. I've been made some jacket potatoes. Now, where was I? I think I was in the middle of this book. This is a lovely book. It gives you all the colours that you might need to make the colours. So I wanted to get back into botanical colours. I probably will wade my way through these two. Again, I think it's got the cardinals. Probably will have different books. It just has some different birds than the other ones, but it's laid out
No.
very similar to the other one. But I want it to work like dark to light because it's not watercolour paper. So they are my little finds. There's a couple of other two little bits to come as well. I haven't unpacked from Ireland yet because I've been to the Abbey straight away as well, but I'm quite pleased I have another chance to colour this one in as well. Same thinner paper. It's not watercolour paper. It's thicker copy paper. It's not watercolour paper, but I'm sure that will be fine. And there isn't time today to do any colouring. I just wanted to make a really quick video about my two watercolour little boxes. And I think this one's a Winsor & Newton one, I think. Yeah, this one's a Winsor & Newton one. But it is quite a nice size, and it's quite lucky that this is plastic, because it would be really heavy. So I'm just playing about with colour a little bit. And then this one will hold more. I might put that plastic back into the bottom, actually, so I don't rattle about. But I just like the fact that, again, like the other one, it's got the water pot. Probably take these out and open them up, because I can use them then. They will be like a watercolour, a dried pan. And I do like this little tiny little colour mixing palette. It's a lot smaller than the other one, but I'll be able to put my paintbrushes in here, I think, and then pass this on to my daughter to put her paintbrushes in, because I think I've got out of the idea of that. One thing I did take with me is my carbon pen, and I've been putting in my travel set. This is what I took with me. Are you Okay then, darling. This is what I took with me. And I found it too bulky. But I did take my Indian ink with me. So I've managed with a syringe to do that.
Out the way.
But it was a bit bulky. But I did like playing with my little porcelain saucer rather than the plastic one. And it was a little bit bulky. This is an old letter set, vintage carry set. So I might put the pencils in there. But the watercolour, I like the idea of just opening it up and there you go.
No.
So I did manage to put my watercolours in here. These are my Series 7. So I like to keep them nice, but I'm still worried about them in this. Whereas if I can keep them in a proper box, they'll be okay. And as I said, I do like this little tiny box. So thanks guys for stopping by. Sorry it's a real quick flick of my buys while I've been away in Ireland. Oh, you're welcome. I will try to get a couple of videos out. They may be the musicy ones. It's just that if I'm in a noisy place, it's the only way I can I can upload the video. I think somebody's put gold paint on that, so I'll have to wash that. And I think that's Payne's Grey. I don't know what colour this one is. These look like they're in metal. They're in metal, but of course these are very old. Of these, this is very old. I've never seen one this small, and this is before they had the porcelain. So these are the metal ones. So these are Victorian. So I was really lucky to get this one because they go for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So I'm not sure I even want to open that because it looks like it's made out of tin, sheet metal. And I knew I wouldn't be using this one. The others I want to use, but this one, I just knew there is no way I want to use these beautiful blocks of colour. I don't know what that one is. I've not had them out actually. I hid it straight away because I didn't. My hands don't work very well. And this one is, I think that says Scarlet Lake, Crimson Lake. And on the other side, this one says it's a John something or other, artist colour. You can see that. And that one is different to this one. Oh, for goodness sake, Mrs. Look at the size difference. Oh, it may have split, but even so, I don't think it has split. I think it's just they are a different make. But they are so beautiful. And I was reading up about what I call a cake. This is a cake. So this is a pan. Oops, so we have pans of colour. These are pans. These are tubes, and this is a cake. And the cake has got a different drying property. I was reading up on it, how the Victorians did it. Oh, it's even before Victorian times, actually. You can't see very well into there. This is another one that's got some name on it. So that one. Burnt sienna. And that one has the same name on. But these are Winsor & Newton, but these aren't. These are something in Sully. I wish I could read that. I'll have to take photographs and then blow them up. But it's a really pretty, and it's not any bigger than my palm. It's so tiny, and it has the old-fashioned hook to go around it. That's how it fastens. So, but it's a beautiful little box, and I would love that size to use, but obviously I am not going to use this. I'm a wimp at the best of times. I won't be using this, but I do love these beautiful little almost cake sizes. I mean, they're only big as your thumb, really, but a lovely little set, beautiful little set. But that may have to go away somewhere. So I can't stop playing with it. Sorry, guys. As I say, the others I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to play with this one and use these. But even though it's a lovely box, again, this was made to use, but those are just that bit too old, I think. I shall have to see if there is an age on it at all. The Winsor Newton one is, this is Winsor Newton, this is Reeves. Oh no, sorry guys, that's Winsor Newton. The other box is that I've bought. There's a couple of vintagey ones. I haven't actually turned this upside down. I've not actually looked at it properly at all. So it does have screws in it, so it's not that old. But they're definitely brass, and it's definitely all handmade. I don't know if that little one comes out, that pot. It probably does, but this one actually pops out. I will clean that before I put it away. And again, I wouldn't think that was for these. I would say that was for a brush, possibly, but I'm not sure how these are. But Winsor & Newton, this is definitely Winsor & Newton, but these have got different names on these, and they are different sizes. I've gone. Oh, sorry, guys. I just can't read what that says. It's a number, I think. So I will do some more look into this, because I didn't actually ever see a small one. I've only ever seen, obviously when you take a photograph, they look as big as the others. But the cakes I've seen are normally quite big. And I'm looking into those kind of watercolors. So thanks, guys. I'm not sure. Have they gone to sleep? Where's the big girl gone? She's probably really warm, because of course, again, we're not sure where she slept. So Alfie's asleep on his bed, and Alfie was so good today. He went to my friend's house and sat like a good boy and played with the dogs, something he's never done before he met little girl. So very quickly, I'll show you a couple of photographs of Ireland. So that's what the big girl looks like. She's an Alsatian, but she has short legs. And there's the Alf Master. So there she is in all her glory in the sun. And here she was in the car. So I would think she's been in this house 2 weeks, I think. And then she's come from wherever. So she's had a pretty traumatic life, bless her. This is the ferry bridge, and I'm hoping to paint this. In Ireland, in Bundoran, there's ferry bridges, and there's the Ferry Kings, and look at that's how windy it was. And there is a surfer. There is a surfer out there, and he was getting pushed about like a little bobbin. So these are called the fairy bridges, and then there's the fairy king's throne. But it was spectacular scenery. It really was, and I was really upset. I just could not get over all these bumpy things without falling down. And as much as I wanted to try and get over there, I didn't make it. I did manage to get to the fairy kings, but the waves were spectacular. They really were. And that's the wild Atlantic coast. Now this isn't hubby. Have I got a picture? I haven't got a picture. So that's where we were, and then we went up to the coast and followed it round, and of course it was absolutely wonderful. We found some pretty good scenery, and that's led me on to watercolouring, but wet on wet. So I'm going to be doing some, obviously, seascapes because of it being inspired by these absolutely awesome skies and awesome things. So thanks, guys, for dropping by. Sorry, it's a quick one. I'll have to give up because we've got dogs and fliffies and foofies and fifis, and I think she's going to be called Frankie. I think that's what she's christened. Oops. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys.